It is time to celebrate. I bring together some of our dynamic women, some clients, some women from the Dynamic Women Global Club, and we're here to chat. Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host. And maybe if you are listening in your ears today to the podcast, you can't see the lovely women that I have in front of me. Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi, Diane.
Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So we have a bunch of lovely women here, and we are celebrating a few things today. We thought we were just celebrating the second year or the second anniversary of the Dynamic Women podcast. But in recent events, we're also celebrating two other really amazing things. For the second year in a row, we have been chosen as one of the top 50 podcasts for moms, or by a mom. I guess we could be for moms too, because a lot of you listeners, you're moms. And that was by Podcast Magazine out of the States. We're very, very blessed to be chosen a second year in a row. And the other one was just an absolute surprise. This one is also mom related, which is quite interesting. It's by FeedSpot. So it's the top 80 career-minded and working women. So the podcasts. And guess what? Dynamic Women was number one. Number one. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, this is where I need one of those clap tracks, because the girls here, they're clapping and they're cheering, but they're muted out of respect for all of you guys listening. Okay, so today we are going to discuss a few things around, like, what does it mean to be dynamic? And if you're wondering that fully, you need to go back and listen to the first few episodes of this podcast, because I really go into detail. But I wanted to bring in some of the community and some of my clients in order to talk about, what does it mean to be dynamic? How have you had to be dynamic during these times? And if you're listening currently, you know what these times refers to. And just kind of what's the future of being a dynamic woman? What's going to be needed for us as we open up again and as the world has maybe shifted? So we're going to do some discussing of that right now. Okay, so what does it mean to be dynamic? This is a question that I receive a lot because it's kind of obscure, I guess. What does that actually mean? And I was going to call the group not dynamic women, but confident women. But I thought some women would self-select themselves as not being confident. And so therefore they can't be part of our club. They can't listen to the podcast. They're just not a part of our community. And I thought, well, that's pretty sad. So when I started to ask people, what does it mean to be dynamic? I got such variety of answers. And so now my little audience here, they're going to help to share what they think being dynamic means. So I'm going to invite them to say, one adjective or one word at a time, and we're going to go around. And I'm just going to call on their names, their first names for now, and they will introduce themselves later, and they'll just share what they think. And so as you're listening, I want you to think, what does it mean to be dynamic, and how would you describe a dynamic woman? And are you these qualities? Okay, Paula. Magnetic. Nice. Lisa.
Observant.
Oh, Anahita.
Resourceful.
Kathy.
Authentic.
Tracy. Adaptable. Yeah, you have to be now. Robin.
Courageous.
Love it. Grace.
Having a growth mindset.
Yes, I love that you said that. We'll do one more around the room. Growth mindset is one of the major things that I teach at the beginning of my mastermind day, because so many people come in and they're like, I knew that already. I know that. Well, yeah, you do know a lot of things. And what else could you know around it? And it's funny because I've been working with a couple new VAs, and I give them projects to do or things to work on. And I have a certain way of looking at how it should be or how I want it to be, because I know how it should be. And sometimes they just go off on their own, or they change something I didn't ask to be changed. And boy, do they blow my mind with how much better it is. So I'm glad that came into the mix. Okay, let's do another round. Same order. Paula.
Seeks connections.
Yes, connection. Lisa.
Lead with grace.
That's two then. Lead and grace. Yeah. Anahita.
Open-minded.
Kathy.
Confident.
Yes, that's one of the pillars. Actually, some of you have said pillars. Connection's a pillar, magnetic's a pillar, confidence is a pillar. Tracy.
Being a great listener.
Yes. Robin.
Encouraging.
And Grace.
Resilient.
Yes. Awesome. So maybe you're nodding your head as you listen to these, just as they were actually nodding their heads at each other's answers. There are so many words that describe a dynamic woman. When I was asked, what is one and how do you be one? That's actually how I came up with the Dynamic You program and book, where it is the 9 pillars of being a dynamic woman. And a lot of the words that you said might not be the pillar, one of the 9 pillars, but they're actually something underneath or something helping you to attain, right? Like we were just talking in the Dynamic You program about being more magnetic. And one way to be more magnetic is to be approachable. Well, another way is to be positive. Another way is to be passionate. And so those are all also wonderful qualities of dynamic women. So let's come into the next piece. There is sometimes I'm asked by reporters or bloggers or whatever to write a piece to add to their article or their blog. And one of the questions was, what is a quality that all entrepreneurs need? And I was like, dynamic, of course. Like, I'm not going to stray at all from, let's be consistent here. So I just want to share what my answer is. And it's going to bring us into a question of, based on how life is right now and business is right now during this special time. How have you had to be more dynamic, or how has being dynamic helped you? So that's the question I want you to ponder as I just share a little bit more about what it means to be dynamic and why it's important that entrepreneurs are dynamic, because I know many of you listeners are. So there are many reasons why entrepreneurs need to be dynamic. Those starting out need to wear many hats, using many different skills and talents, while also continuing to grow and apply more. And then when you start to scale your business, right? So there's startup stage or scaling business stage, being dynamic means you're magnetic. That's one of the ones Paula gave. You're drawing people in, you're inspiring them, and then you're persuading them to action, usually buying your product or service. And the word dynamic, when you look at the dictionary and when talking about a person, it means being positive, full of energy and new ideas, which are all things that take entrepreneurs to the top. Now, why? Well, why be magnetic? Why be dynamic? Why bring all these things in? And why bother being positive? Well, a positive mindset, so maybe like Grace said, the growth mindset, it helps with setbacks and rejection. And energy is needed to stay consistent and survive long hours. And if you are an entrepreneur that started because you read the 4-hour work week, and then you were very quickly understanding that you have to put a lot into place to get a 4-hour work week and you're working long hours, and then you probably understand what I'm saying. So new ideas help businesses not only enter the market, but then stay relevant and have a long lasting life. So, and lastly, dynamic entrepreneurs stimulate progress and embrace change. So a business evolves, it has long-term success, and then it's valuable to sell because some people want to do that. So I'm going to ask our ladies now to be thinking about, and for you as well, how have you had to be dynamic during this time? So let's get some answers from those that are joining us here. Paula, would you like to start? And please, name, title, business name, just as we do at Dynamic Women, let us know who you are.
Yep. Hello, everyone. I'm Paula Kent. I'm the author of Heroic Choices. How have I had to be dynamic during this time that we've had? Well, for me, it was really about being thoughtful in regards to what was going on in the world, digging deep within myself and pulling for some creativity. And through that, I wrote my book, Heroic Choices, to share with the world about transformative experiences.
Yeah, I love it because, some people are like, ooh, woe is me. Like, this is horrible. And other people are like, I wrote a book. I reorganized my house. I picked up a new hobby. Well, that's great. That's so amazing. Not much changed really for me, except I'm not speaking on stages and having live events. And so I didn't get to go do all these new projects, but that's okay. That's awesome, Paula. And I look forward to reading it when I can get a copy.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa Santillipo. I am a leader with Epicure, Spice Diva Lisa with Epicure. I've had to be driven. I early in the pandemic decided that I needed to be better for myself. And I've been driven to take care of myself, to lose weight, to really just, keep business moving forward. Driven has been my sort of theme throughout the whole thing. So
I love it. And I just wrote a blog about drive and getting motivated from your drive. So listeners, check that out if you want to see how you can be more driven, just like Lisa is. And you can't see, but her shirt says smart, flawless, strong, #mom. And that's such a great thing since both of the lists are about basically being a mom. Kathy, let's go to you next.
Hi, I'm Kathy Fester, and my business is KIT Communications. It stands for Keeping in Touch, and I'm the co-founder of the Gratitude Appreciation Summit. And the way I have survived this past year is shifting, literally shifting, and being very intentional, not only with scheduling my self-care for the first time in my life, but also to be intentional in trusting myself with my decisions and others. And by doing that has enabled me to schedule that self-care. So intention's my big word, and shift was huge. So much so that the world has opened up this year. I think this has been a blessing this past year because it's expanded business and horizons. It's
virtually,
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the first pillar of being a dynamic woman is prioritizing yourself. And so I'm glad that you did that, because that's the foundation. You can't even step into all the other pillars until you've been able to do that. Thank you. Okay, Grace.
Hi, I'm Grace Tan. I'm an owner of financial brokerage with World Financial Group, and I do lead a team of people as well. And so, so for me, I actually love, face-to-face meeting people. Like, that's why I really love my industry, was being able to do that. And actually, part of the regulations is that you had to be meeting face to face. And so when it shifted, there was a lot of I went through a lot of emotion. So there was fear, there was vulnerability. And then I do remember in March of last year that I really had to dig deep in terms of what I felt inside in terms of what we needed to do, even before things were called. And so we decided as a team to go from face-to-face meetings, supporting our team online, even before anything else happened. And I'm glad that we did, because I just felt called. And at that moment, I felt that I had to find courage, and I had to just listen to that inner knowing to do that, even before instead of waiting for somebody else to make that decision. And so when we did that, actually everything else happened a week later. And so, and then by doing so, it did open up, just like with Kathy, open up opportunities for us, because before our clients and our team was local. And then now we are supporting people from Alberta, Ontario, Texas, Hawaii, just because of that first decision. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And so you brought up, listening to your intuition, and that going into the pillar of self-awareness and being self-aware of not only what you like, and what you need and what you want, but how you feel, and then trusting that gut decision. So I'm glad you brought that one up as well. And Anahita, let's go to you. How have you had to be dynamic during this time?
Wow. Hi, Anahita Sharma here. I am the handmade business coach and consultant and CEO and founder of GoGo Bags. So the way I had to be dynamic was, first of all, for GoGo Bags, I had to be adaptive and change my whole business model, bring new products to stay afloat and survive this time. I also went through a huge transition, observing the handmade market, how my colleagues, my friends didn't have a craft market to go to. I stepped into a different position to teach them how to sell online and successfully. So during this time, I transitioned to become a coach in that area and created a market for them. So it was very eye-opening. In this time was very eye-opening for me and a huge transition.
Yeah. And, you know, for some people, when they have something happen in their life personally, they might think this is the most tragic thing, or this is the most horrible thing, or this is really screwing me over or screwing over my business. But it could also be the start of something great. And
Exactly.
so that's what's happened for you, Anahita.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Tracy.
Hi, my name is Tracy Paquin, and I'm fully licensed with Primerica for over 12 years, a division leader. I'm also actually a published author now with called Family Tree, so excited about that. How I've had to be dynamic this last year is to really be able to take some of the skills that I've learned being in business, to really be able to take it on a personal level. Our family's actually experienced a lot of loss. I lost my sister last year, March 6th, right before everything was kicking in. My dad lives in Thailand. So to be able to take my skills with Zoom and to be able to bring people together and to try to figure out how we could really serve the family at that point was such a big thing, to be able to do that. And through this process, yes, I have been using Zoom. So it has opened up so many different areas, you know, just in my life. My sons have become master chefs this last 2 years. So I've had to adapt to eating really good food on Saturday nights.
Oh,
with
that's so
good, right? And so, you know, and I agree with you, Diane, this can open up so many doors if people are just open-minded and embrace change, initiate opportunity. This is the time to really step out of our comfort zone, because nothing happens sitting at home. Oh, right. We can do business at home. I forgot.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin McTague, creator of A Life of Choice, metaphysics teacher, speaker, author, Enneagram, and engagement specialist. And for me, it's really been about one-on-one connection. So without having the networking and speaking and those kinds of things in person, connecting with a lot of people one-on-one, finding out what do they really need or want, what's going on with them, and really having that openness instead of, you know, here's what I do. And it's like, because being holistic, we have to take care of all parts of ourselves. So it might not be business related, might be something personal that I can help them with. So, and vice versa. So it was really about a lot more connection.
Yeah, for sure. And connection is one of the pillars. I love it. I love that all these different pillar words are coming up, and that we're starting to hear how all of you have been able to adapt, change, be positive, maybe be a catalyst in all of this. And so for those of you listening, if you have a great idea or a great story, please share in the comments below. Let me know. I really want to hear it. Or if it's a bit more private, email it to me, diane@dianerolston.com. I'd love to hear it. And maybe you would be a good candidate to be interviewed for the Dynamic Women podcast. Who knows? Because every other episode I bring on a dynamic woman for them to share their expertise with you, or to share their story, or a little bit of both. Okay, so now we know how you've been. How are you going to be moving forward? So the world will open up. And, you know, in one regard, it's already opened up. COVID made it open up virtually, but it's going to open up in the sense that brick and mortar businesses are going to open up again. We're going to be able to eventually be in groups And, but things will change. Things will definitely be different. I think one of the blessings in this is people have realized that they want life to be a bit more simple, not so fast paced. They maybe realize how much they care about family, friends, and loved ones, or how important those pieces are. Tracy, I'm sorry for the loss of your sister. I lost my father in August. So having a pandemic, having children at home, having all this change, and then also to lose a loved one is absolutely horrible. And so we realize, though, right, things are different, and we now have the power to make things different. And so my question to you at this time is, what do we need to do in the future as the world opens up, or how are you going to change in the future because of the experience that you've had? So listeners, now is the time for you to really think about, what is that one thing that you are going to do as we open up and as things get into this new way of being that you get to choose? And for some inspiration, here's what the ladies joining me are going to do. Robin.
Being really conscious with my choices and setting boundaries so that spread, you know, all of a sudden you're doing too many things, and it's so easy to get caught into that because a lot of us have the shiny object syndrome and we want to connect and it just gets too much. So just being aware of that.
Yeah, being conscious of where your time is being spent. Awesome. Thank you. Paula.
Really thinking about the lessons that we've learned, and what stands out for me is the importance of family, of course, but it goes beyond that. It's about that connectivity to community, and just bringing forward the importance, almost the jewels of how important it is for us to be in each other's physical presence and to make the most of that time. That is something that I've completely missed, but I know will take on new importance as we move forward out of the pandemic for me.
Yeah, thank you. I had a dream the other night that I hugged people and I was hesitant, and then I hugged them and I was like, were we allowed to do that? It's so funny. Lisa.
Well, I love hugging people and I cannot wait to get back to that. But I think, and actually that feeds into mine, which is just continuing to do self-care. And by loving other people and being around other people, I get fed. And so that's a great part of the self-care. And I will, now that I've learned how that really helps me and helps me to, you know, feed into others as well, that I will not be giving that up. I'm going to continue on through and
wonderful.
Keep that up. Yeah.
Good. Grace.
Yes, for me, I think in order to be the best leader I can be is to be really mindful and to choose what my time is going to be in terms of scheduling in, you know, things that bring me joy, as well as simplifying things. And I think, yeah, when you simplify, it is easier to multiply the things that you want in your life.
Nice. Kathy.
Okay. What everybody else has said. For me, it really, it's all of those things. And it comes down to a couple of words for me. And that is being consistent. Yes. And creating those habits that I have now and keeping them and maintaining them.
Yeah. So use this as a time of foundation setting,
yes.
Habit, lifestyle, routine building, and then you're going to enter that really strong. Awesome. Anahita.
Yeah, for me, I was able to be more present in the past year and a half. So I'm going to continue doing that. And I had created a morning routine that I was able to continuously do every morning, just meditate and be in my true self, connect with my true self, that I'm going to continue.
Awesome.
Served me well. Yeah.
Great. And Tracy?
I really think the ability moving forward to have choices, right? To really be able to, you know, utilize high touch, right? Utilizing Zoom and also the hot, you know, the tech, right? To be able to have choices moving forward. And it is going to be great when you can go back. I remember giving away free hugs out in Surrey, right? Pouring rain, big sign with free hugs. That was such an amazing time. And so I hope we can finally get back to something like that again, because people are needing to be listened to and to be heard more than ever.
In the connection. Awesome. Yeah. Well, big congratulations to all of us for doing this second year podcast. Thank you for those listening. This is my ability to give back, to share my knowledge, and to share the amazing women that I meet in this community. And so if you haven't met us, if you haven't met people in this community, if you haven't met me, or you want to spend more time together, please, first of all, join the Dynamic Women community on Facebook. It's the free group that we have. Jump into there. Then you can also go to our website, and I'll have all this in the show notes, and make sure that you attend one of our future Dynamic Women events. They're fun. They're speed connecting, and there's our level up events and so many other awesome things. And if you haven't yet, like and subscribe to this podcast. And until next time, everyone, stay dynamic. Bye.